Alright, so today we are going to try to make a replacement for this pulley, which I smashified a little bit. I welded this, I started machining it, but nickel, it's extremely tough, it's quite difficult to machine. And I got to looking and I was like, you know, I got to turn this down into this edge here, which is already fairly thin, and in the belt, like there's a ridge here that the rubber belt is worn. You can see it on camera right there. There's a ridge that's been worn in this, so it's already thinner than it should be, and I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to get it smooth enough, so it was going to start, you know, eating belts, you know, because I'm not a machinist. And so I started looking for a replacement pulley. I can get one of these, but it's like $85 or $90 because evidently I'm not the only one who breaks them. And then of course I'd have the same thing I already broke, so I didn't really want that because I just break it again. So I got to digging around in my random junk area and I found this pulley left over from a project, and the way that this works is there's this thing which clamps down on what I'm guessing is a 1-inch shaft, and you know, and it bolts in kind of like that. So what we're gonna do is discard that, widenify this a little bit, and I got to look and I think I got really lucky, and this piece of steel pipe will work to make this part of the pulley right in here. It's just a few thousandths of an inch too small on the inside, so we gotta cut this off, bore it out, and then make some type of accommodation for that type of hole, and then try to balance it so it doesn't rattle my tractor to death. Let's see what happens. Alright, check it out. We've got our nice new pulley on here. I didn't end up using that other pulley that I wanted to because it turned out to be cast iron, and welding that to the steel center that I made was a little bit more of a battle than I really wanted. So I also took it upon myself to balance this thing. You can see that's where the bolt goes. It holds us on the front of the engine, and I welded on a nut and a bolt here to offset the weight of the one that goes in there. So let's see here. I'm gonna installify some of this never sees on here, so this way hopefully if this thing ever has to come off again, which I really hope it doesn't, it shouldn't be a complete and total battle. Alright. The other thing you'll notice is this indicating bolt with this lock nut type setup here. Before, this tapered section was way too wide, so it's next to impossible to actually line up on the crankshaft. So what I've done is I've sharpened this, so now it should actually fit in there properly. And we will see how this is going to go. Hey, that looks sharp on there. I like that. Silver, it's a metallic hammer finish silver, as you can see. Come on. It's tough to get these threads started here sometimes. It's going to be kind of hard to tell if this leaking because I totally dumped water all over the place when I overfillified it. One thing that I noticed is it looks like that stem is broken off for the relief for the radiator, but we'll just have to deal with that another time. Also, I got this new gauge and put it on here. I don't know if the old gauge worked and it just never got up to temperature because there's like a hole in that housing and no thermostat in it, or if it, you know, if there's something else going on, but whatever the case, that was pretty cheap to replace and it's not old and crusty like the old one, so I'm pretty happy. I guess we're just gonna double checkify the oil in this and fire it up. You can see I put on a new alternator. I know that some people will whine and complain because this is a Chinese clone of a Japanese alternator, and they'll say this is morally worse than putting on a Chinese clone of an American alternator, but you know, whatever, it's more compact, it fits in there. And we got a brand new V-belt, new hoses, and let's see what happens. Now, you might remember, I realized after the fact that I didn't actually have to loosen this distributor, so it's probably not gonna wanna start because the timing's gonna be off, but we'll just jack with it and hope I don't manage to run myself over with this thing. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is say all kinds of negative stuff about how it's never gonna run, so it'll fire right up and I'll look like an idiot, because that'll seriously save me like an hour fine tuning this thing. See if I even remember how to drive this thing and start it, because I haven't. Messed with it in like weeks because I've been waiting for parts and baling hay and haven't had time to work on it and whatnot. Effective. It's always the simple things. Oh, we're losing water! Dang it! Who thought this was a predictable outcome from loosening a hose clamp on a radiator hose? Alright, well at least we get to wash the shop floor. It's very important, you know. Take however many. Not to know which direction to turn the distributor to stop backfires. I don't know, we'll just turn it one way or the other and see what happens. We'll start there.